coronavirus, tighter national rules considered by the government, new England-wide measures which could see hospitality businesses shut down are being considered by the UK government to slow a surge of coronavirus cases. A short period of national rules, a circuit break of a few weeks, could be announced in the next week, BBC political editor Laura Kussenberg said. Schools and most workplaces would be kept open during those weeks. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said another full lockdown would be the last line of defence. Speaking on BBC Breakfast, the Health Secretary added that the government wanted to avoid such a measure, but was prepared to do it should coronavirus cases continue to rise. Mr Hancock said the number of cases was accelerating and said it was critical that people follow social distancing guidelines and local lockdown rules where they apply. If we do all these things, we can avoid having to take serious further measures, he told the programme. At a meeting on Wednesday night, the government's chief scientific advisor and medical officer predicted another serious outbreak of the disease. They forecast that there would be a significant number of deaths by the end of October if there were no further interventions. The possible measures being discussed include asking some hospitality businesses to close, or limiting the opening hours of some pubs and restaurants nationwide. No final decisions have yet been reached on the next course of action. The virus is now understood to be doubling every 7 to 8 days, with more than 3,300 new cases reported on Thursday. It comes as nearly 2 million people in the north and east of England are latest to face local lockdown rules, which came into force on Friday. The restrictions will ban people from meeting other households and restaurants and pubs will shut at 10 BST. New lockdown rules are set to be brought in for Lancashire, with the exception of Blackpool, the BBC understands. The four nations of the UK are all in charge of their own lockdown restrictions, with Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland implementing slightly different rules to England. Under the so-called circuit break, restrictions could be reintroduced in some public spaces nationwide for a period of a few weeks, but schools and workplaces would be kept open. One of the ideas suggested by the Government Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, SAGE, is that some parts of the hospitality sector could be asked to close. Number 10 is considering the possibility of limiting the opening hours of pubs and restaurants across the country, as has already happened in some areas. However, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is understood to be deeply reluctant to order another national lockdown, where everyone would be asked to stay at home and businesses to close. Earlier this week, he described the potential impact of a second national lockdown on the economy as disastrous. On Thursday morning, Chancellor Rishi Sunak is understood to have presented warnings of the damage to the economy, and ministers are also concerned about the impact of more restrictions on daily life on those who need treatment for non-COVID related illnesses. However, the government has not taken any final decisions about the next course of action. It is not yet clear what impact this week's new rule banning social gatherings of more than 6 people will have on the rate of increase. And number 10 is continuing to monitor the data and take scientific advice. But it seems increasingly likely that within the next week, the Prime Minister will tighten the national rules again, our correspondent said. On Friday, parts of North East England join other areas of the UK in being under local lockdown rules. The measures affect Newcastle, Gateshead, Sunderland, Northumberland, South Tyneside, North Tyneside and County Durham Council area, as well as the ban on households mixing and early closures for pubs and restaurants. People also only use public transport for essential travel, and care homes get closed to visitors. An announcement on possible lockdown in North West England is expected from the government later on Friday. The restrictions for Lancashire, but not Blackpool, are expected to include a similar ban on household mixing and a requirement for hospitality businesses to close early. It is not yet known what measures will be introduced, although the BBC understands they will be imminent. There are also local lockdown restrictions elsewhere in the UK, including Birmingham, Greater Manchester, Caerphilly, and the Belfast County area. So in other key developments, the number of new weekly cases in Europe has exceeded the number reported during the first week of the pandemic. The head of the World Health Organization in Europe has warned. The health of the UK government system, the head of the UK government's testing system, which has faced criticism in recent weeks, has demand for booking tests in 3 to 4 times the number available. People arriving in England and Scotland from Singapore and Thailand will not need to quarantine from Saturday morning. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave any questions you have in the comments below. Thanks.